Hello everyone. So during this video, I'm going to be providing you with an overview of the module Blackboard site. So I'm going to be telling you what information the module site will contain, how it will be structured, and how you can navigate through the site as well. So even though I'm going to be focusing on the Module 1 site, just to let you know that all of the module sites are structured in the same way. So first of all, if I enter the module site, as you will see, similar to the course site, on the left-hand side there is the course menu, which advises you how the module site is structured and organized. So going into the first section there, the overview, within this area there will be a video from the module leader, which tells you about the module, so the purpose of it, the function of it, etc. And then below that there will be the learning outcomes. So these are essentially the types of information, knowledge, understanding that we hope you will gain after having studied this module. Also, there's a list of transferable skills as well that we hope you will have obtained following the module as well. So the next area is the learning materials area or section, and this is a very important section on the module site because it contains information about the webinars, so the online seminars, but also this is the area of the site that contains the module content itself, and I'll explain how that is organized as well. So first of all, you have the timetable of the webinars, so the dates and times when they will take place. There's some information about how you can manage your learning, so some links to some learning resources, and then following that it is the module content. So the module content is divided up into units, and for modules of 30 credits there will be 8 units. However, for modules of 15 credits there will be only 4 units. So as you can see here, given that module 1 is a 30 credit module, there are 8 units. And here you can see the name of each of those units as well as the overview of the aim of it, as well as the information that it will contain. So if I first come into Unit 1, Academic Skills, there is a unit overview. So a very concise explanation of the unit, as well as a list of learning outcomes as well. And then each of the units are organized into 3 resources, which again contain an overview. So if I enter the first resource here, as you can see, they are organized into pages, and those pages will contain either text, videos, activities, or directed reading, which are either required or recommended. So if I just work through this resource, through the different pages, you will see here there is a required essential reading page. So it outlines what the actual source is, provides an overview, and also tells you what kind of issues or questions you should be thinking about when using or reading that resource. And there's also a link as well to the module electronic reading list. I click on the link there, and it takes you to the electronic reading list. So this list contains all the sources required or recommended reading, as I've previously mentioned, and it's organized in a way that mirrors the module content. So there is the units and also the resources as well. And the resources are also sequenced in a way that replicate the way they are structured within the module content as well. So it is easy to navigate through. So if I come out of that and I come back out of the resource, again, you can either click back here or you can use the breadcrumb as well. So those are the resources for each of the units, and also within each unit at the bottom there is a reference list as well. So if I click on the link there, it will take you to the reference list and further reading. These are the sources that have been used to construct the module content. So they will be of use, because if you want to follow up a certain source that has been used within the module content, you can find that here. But do bear in mind, this is different from the electronic reading list. The module electronic reading list contains the sources that we suggest you read as part of the module, so it's the required and recommended reading. So if I move on to the next area, that is the readings and sources area. So they can contain a list of core texts that we recommend you buy if you prefer to have hard copies of texts or sources. And there's also a further link to the module electronic reading list, which if you click on, it will take you through to the list as we've seen before. And there's also some further information about how you can use the library, as well as how you use sources such as referencing, etc. The third area here focuses on the assessment and feedback for the module. So initially it provides you a useful infographic that outlines the different roles between the personal tutor and the marker. And then there's an overview as well of the assessment strategy or structure for that module. So it tells you what specific assessments you will have to take as part of that module, as well as a brief overview of some of the requirements as well, including the weighting as well for each assessment. However, that information is expanded on within subsequent folders, which I'll talk about in a minute. There's also an important assessment timetable as well. So first of all, it lets you know when the assessment is available, and I suppose it's important to point out now that not all assessments are available as soon as you start the module. So for instance, with module 1, there is several weeks delay before you are able to access the assessments. So you need to bear that in mind when looking at this information. There's also the assessment deadline, followed by the deadline for mitigating circumstances, which is 5 working days following the deadline for that assessment. And then also an overview of when the marks and the feedback should become available to yourselves. But you'll also be informed through an email by the student support officers when the specific marks and the feedback is accessible to you. Some further information about preparing for your assessments, and then following that, there are the assessment folders. So within each of these folders, they will contain more information about the assessment, so the assessment requirements, for example, the essay questions that you may have to select, or like with this folder here, the links to the academic tests that you will have to undertake. There's also some further information as well, and some guides of how you can submit the assessments as well. And then finally, there's some useful sources to help you with your assessment tasks, and a link to the Grade Centre where you can access your mark and feedback when you are informed that it is available by the student support officers. You can do that within each of the modules. The final area here of this section contains an overview of how you can collaborate with your personal tutor and fellow students during that module. So within this module, it contains information about Microsoft Teams, which is the platform that they use to hold the webinars. There's also a link to the group discussion board. So within the previous video, I've talked about the main course site. There was a group discussion board there that talked about induction, and you could introduce yourself to your fellow students and your personal tutor, etc. Also within the module Blackboard sites, there is a group discussion board, and that is tailored for that module. So if I enter this discussion board, as you'll see, there's some forums there that is specifically about Unit 1, which is the academic skills unit. So there's some set activities that students will have to do as part of that unit, and it involves contributing to the discussion board. And also there's a general forum as well about the module. So it's where students can talk about the module content, they can discuss the assessments, etc. And there's some further information about the personal tutoring support, feedback sessions, and also use of email as well within the engage and interact section. And then finally, I'll just take you to the key contact section. So again, this includes some information for the academics attached to the module in which you may need to have contact with, the student support officers, and also library contacts as well. So that's it for this video. However, if you do have any specific questions about the module site, about any bits of information, etc., then do contact your personal tutor.